If you're thinking about moving to Jacksonville, Florida, you may want to watch out for some of these hidden costs that might surprise you. I went to the Jacksonville Social Gals Facebook group and got over 69 responses and even a little bit of banter between some of the members. I love getting the real and unbiased opinion of real people who live here. So let's jump right on in. One of the very first comments that I received was, homeowners insurance. If you are within 5 miles of the ocean, you usually have to go to a high-risk carrier, which is more expensive. I pay $8,000 a year for homeowners insurance and another $1,000 a year for separate flood insurance. And that is absolutely insane, but can you blame insurance carriers here in the state of Florida? Because we have had some catastrophic hurricanes and tropical storms and flood surges within, I'd probably say, the last decade. And so that has definitely caused an increase with insurance costs, especially if you're living near water. The next comment I received was, the amount of times people have hit my car here is astounding. And girl, I could not agree with you even more. My car, I've had 2 different cars within the last 5 years, and both cars I was actually hit at a stoplight. Like, I was completely stopped for several, maybe at least a minute or 2. And the first one ended in a 3-car pileup because that person or someone hit them and then their car slammed into my car. And then the second time that I was hit, I was at a stoplight, and then the lady mentioned that she was looking at her dog and she ran into the back of my car. So it just amazes me that people are just driving that wild or not paying attention and causing accidents for no reason, really. So I can relate to that. The next comment I received was car insurance and car notes. Insane. My JEA is super reasonable considering I work from home. So yes, car insurance and car notes, you guys may definitely start to see a theme here in the comments, but JEA for this particular person has been super reasonable. And if you don't know what JEA is, it's our local electric company here in Jacksonville, Florida, that I would say the majority of people, and again, I quote, the majority of people use. There may be other carriers, but JEA here in Jacksonville is one of the main providers, so don't come for me. And then another comment I received was JEA. Another comment was car insurance. It's more than my car payment. And that to me is just wild. I don't know if it's wild to you if you're coming from another area, but seeing that, I mean, I've even seen a very huge increase in mine by at least $200. And I was like, what happened? And my carrier mentioned that it has gone up entirely for the state of Florida. So that would be something you really want to take into consideration when you're relocating, or if you move here from another part of Florida, or again, relocating from another state. Another comment said JEA and car and homeowners insurance. So like the basic necessities seem to be just unexpected for people that are relocating or moving to the area. Another person commented, food too. I swear groceries were cheaper when I was living in Clay County. Now I'm in Duval and the same grocery stores charge so much more. That might be something to consider and look into. I'm also in Duval County, so I wouldn't really know too much about Clay County's grocery expenses or just the cost of food, but I definitely have seen a significant increase in just going to the grocery store, and I predominantly shop at Publix. Other than that, like I don't know like what Costco or BJ's prices look like, so that would be something to look into. Without a doubt, auto insurance. I go back and forth between Jax and New York and somehow spend less in New York. That is wild to me to hear that Jacksonville is way more expensive than New York, but that's awesome that you kind of get to spread a little bit between here and there and spread out some of those costs and expenses. Another comment I received was, however, realistically, home and auto insurance, I am an agent and it's wild here. So it is wild that you're hearing that specifically from an insurance agent who is providing homeowners insurance and car insurance and all the insurance here in Jacksonville, that it's actually just way more expensive. So some replies to that comment were, I'm not a homeowner, but I moved from Virginia to Jacksonville and my car insurance tripled from what I was paying up there for the same coverage. Man, this is just definitely going to be a theme in these comments and in this video, that homeowners insurance, car insurance, just insurance in general is going to be, the main theme of this video. So yeah, this is wild. And the next comment I received was, I've lived in Florida my whole life, but the price of house insurance, our home is uninsured and we are praying nothing happens. Wow, that is scary to think that you have no homeowners insurance coverage on your home. I hope that your home is paid for. Fingers crossed on that one. However, yes, homeowners insurance has gone up, but if you will still get force placed insurance, so this is a tip, pro tip, that you will have force placed insurance on your home, especially if you have a mortgage on it, or if your insurance carrier dropped you for whatever reason, you would want to double look at what you're being charged, because if you're not paying for it and your home is still as a mortgage, you probably have 3 times the insurance amount or just what you're paying because you have force placed insurance. The next response that was received was in response to the last comment, and it said, I assume you don't have a mortgage. Miss people not that lucky, as mortgage company requires insurance for us. They require both homeowners, which this is the response from the lady who's paying $8K per year plus an additional $1K per year. Even if something did happen, the deductible is so high, we would probably be paying out of pocket anyway. So she was mentioning the force placed insurance. So that's if you have a mortgage on the property, and the deductible probably is astronomical, especially for her home since she's near the beach. It's probably wild. So I hope you save your money for anything that could potentially happen. The next comment I received was, I've been looking at moving and plan on this winter, but seeing wage difference is scary and the wages that are much lower. So I'll have to check into this, but if wages are way lower here versus other areas in Florida potentially, or in other parts of the country, that's kind of scary because the cost of living, of course, inflation is here and has continued to rise. So if you can barely afford to just make ends meet, that's pretty scary. The next comment or response to that was, do you feel it's a good balance or more worth it? I don't want to move and be in a worse situation. I'd like to move to improve my financial situation. I'm in Colorado and it's really expensive. I like to enjoy life a little bit more. Hey, and wouldn't we all like to enjoy life a little bit more? But you are able to do a lot more of the outdoorsy things that I always mention, like going to the beach. It doesn't cost you anything but your time and just lugging the stuff out there, right? Or bike riding and doing some of the free things and events that are in and around Jacksonville. But it also, I would say, it depends on the career path or job that you have that would, cause for you to see a difference in wages for the same career. So I don't know, girl, you might have to get a second job, and I hope you don't, and just to make up for the cost of living here. And I just also want to note there was no context outside of what I've read for the comment, so I don't know what career path or job this person has. The next response to that comment was, for me, I have a 4-bedroom house and my mortgage is less than what I was paying for rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in San Diego. Groceries are about $100 cheaper monthly, and getting my hair done, beauty services are way more affordable. Well, darn, I might need to move to San Diego, and I recently visited there last year in October, so I thought it was kind of expensive, but there may be just more people maybe offering some of those similar services, and why those prices are more affordable in San Diego versus Jacksonville. So I don't really know. We would have to really dive deep and do the numbers and math on that for us to really analyze those comments or claims. Also, another response, this was the longest thread ever. So the next response was, I'd say it depends on what your career is and what you're looking for in lifestyle too in a new city. For me, I wanted a little quieter and a more laid back lifestyle, and I also visited a few times and explored the city first. I used bank rates, relocation calculator, and a few other websites for research too. Those are actually some great resources for you to tap into if you're looking to kind of analyze if Jacksonville is going to be a good move for you, or anywhere in particular, just to compare where you're living now versus coming to Jacksonville, Florida, and seeing if this is going to be a easier transition for you, or if you may have to pick up up a second job. The final response to that thread was, I'll check out bank rates. I hadn't thought of that one. And like I mentioned, those are some really great resources as well. The next comment is JEA is intense, and I couldn't agree more that it is super intense. The next comment was also JEA, and then there were 8 replies to this, and they said, JEA is the start of my very own villain origin story with a dead emoji. And then the next comment was, seriously, it's so terrible, LOL. And a couple people laughed at that comment. And then the next comment was, they're definitely terrible. They're also very exploitive. We need laws protecting the people, especially as we get hotter and hotter climates here, with the out of breath emoji. Yeah, JEA is off the Richter, especially like I mentioned, if you are, this is like, JEA is like the main provider. There are some other ones that shall not be named. However, it just depends on where you are and if this is applicable to you, but this is specifically speaking to Duval County here in Jacksonville. The next comment or response was, what's JEA? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that, and I've already gone through what JEA is. It is our electric here in Jacksonville. And then the next comment was, JEA is actually far cheaper than neighboring counties, including St. Augustine, that have Florida Power and Light. It is for profit corporation, and rates are so much higher than JEA rates. So we may need to be a little bit more thankful and appreciative of JEA. However, it just may be a lot more expensive comparing it to some of the other areas if you're relocating, especially from another area, and maybe even if you're relocating from a cooler placed area who's not really hot. Like, we keep our AC here at my house at 69 degrees, and to me that's freezing. I prefer to keep it on 72. Don't tell my husband when he's not home because I can't stand to be that cold. I literally have to, like, I'm in my home, I'm usually like in sweatpants and a hoodie or like some sort of jacket because it is always freezing. But if you're able to keep your AC on a consistent level all the time, that's most likely better for, one, your AC unit, and two, just to avoid like having to cool your house down completely or your apartment or wherever you live completely, versus just keeping it always at a certain temperature all the time. Even during the winter months, we keep our AC at 69. So yeah. The next comment I received was the difference in our electric bill from the summer months to winter months. And that goes to say what I just said was keeping your AC at like 69, maybe even 70, and or maybe even 72. So that way you have that consistency through summer and winter. The response to that comment was, my summer electric bill here is half as much as it was in Tampa. And someone like put a shocked face, because I'm shocked because Tampa seems to be a lot hotter, but I don't know. This summer has been really hot for me here in Jacksonville. So I don't know. I don't know what the summers are like in Tampa, so I can't really comment on that too much. But someone mentioned, the next reply was, they have a program where they will distribute your bill evenly throughout the year instead of having it super cheap in the winter and super expensive in the summer. I think you just have to be in place for a year so that way they have an idea of your usage. That was a really good tip that the member shared. And then someone replied, wait, no way, looking into this right now. I'm also going to be looking into this, although I don't pay for my electric bill. My husband takes care of that bill. So I may look into that for us so we can, of course, evenly distribute our electric bill. Another contributor said car insurance. And then the next comment was mortgage rates going up because of escrow, tax, and insurance. We started paying $1,300 for our mortgage in 2020, and the last year we are up to $1,700. And then someone replied, same. I couldn't agree with this more. Even for one of my rental properties that is not here in Jacksonville, but in the state of Florida, my cost of insurance and taxes have definitely increased, where it's cutting into my profits. So that's gonna obviously lead to me increasing the rent for my rental property. So what can we do? And then the next comment was rent going up and the fact so many drive without car insurance making rates higher and more accidents since people are colorblind and can't tell green from any other color, LOL. Wow, that is wild. So that means you may want to make sure you have uninsured motorists marked off on your policies. So especially if people are saying things like, you know, people are driving without insurance, you want to make sure you have that coverage selected on your policy so that way you're not left, you know, without or having to come out of pocket for all of the repairs for your vehicle if you get into an accident. So then another person moving here from San Diego, I love this. I was like, I need to find you guys. I moved here from San Diego and I was fed the idea everything is cheaper, but other than my gas and my car, everything is the same price or more expensive on a 2/3 pay cut. So we're hearing pay cuts. We're hearing that San Diego is a lot cheaper than Jacksonville, which is a surprise. So we may need to dive a little deeper and to compare the cost of living there versus here in another video for you guys, because that is wild to me, especially being in the state of California. A reply to that comment was, you find stuff more expensive in Jackson, San Diego, question mark. Gas, rent, housing, etc. from what I've seen is all cheaper. Gas alone is almost $2 cheaper in Florida. I'm from San Diego and will be moving to Jack soon for work. The reply to that was not necessarily more expensive. Restaurants, yes. More expensive, like why am I paying $16 for 6 dumplings when I could have gone to Din Tai at the UTC and gotten 10 for 15, and that's a nice restaurant. Gas is cheaper as I mentioned, but my mortgage is no different than San Diego, except I lived on the beach and here I don't. Also, car insurance tripled and our pay was 2/3 moving here cheaper, but the pay significantly more expensive. So wow. The next reply from that was, I'm from San Diego too, but for me it's just opposite. It could be because I was staying at La Jolla. UTC though, everything is cheaper for me. The next reply to that original comment was, I was in Oceanside. La Jolla is extremely bougie expensive, so I get that, LOL. So duh, if you're coming from La Jolla to here, there's gonna be a difference. Yeah, the car insurance, they tried to raise mine and I switched companies and I pay $190 now. So that could be something else that you could look into, is switching carriers, because most likely they're gonna offer you a better rate or insurance rate when you are first signed up with them. And I know that's so annoying to do, but that may be something you could consider, is switching to another insurance company to lower your rates. Another comment I have received was, yeah, I heard this from people moving down here and I'm like, yep, you got bamboozled, and they did the cat crying emoji, crying laughing emoji. It didn't used to be like this. COVID made everything worse and prices hiked, and I think at one time we were considered low cost of living, and that is so true. To that person that wrote this comment, yes, COVID did increase, but I think increased the cost of living, and of course it increased for everyone. Inflation just totally took over and everyone was impacted, not just Jacksonville, but I would think the world was impacted by the cost of living everywhere. So, and plus I feel like people are still catching up from COVID and during just that time period. Another comment too, or another reply from that comment was, I'm in the Navy and I cried when I found out I was coming to Florida because I didn't want to come. However, I was fed that it would be cheaper and now I don't leave my house because every cost entirely too much. But I do believe COVID ruined everything. Oh no, I'm so sad that that's like the response. And I would think Florida would be nice. I mean, we have sun, like tons of sunshine. And this is coming from a girl who came from Washington State, who lived in the rain, in the cold, in the snow. So I'm happy to be here. I would never go back to anywhere cold. But I mean, obviously there are other cooler cities outside of Jacksonville. And I don't mean cooler in regards to climate, but just like with more things to do, for example, or just more unique things to do. But I don't know, I don't get tired of the beach and being outside and doing outside activities, so who knows. And then another reply was, yep, I took a pay cut when we PCS'd here and it's rough. And then another person commented and said, coming from Miami, I definitely think they meant the cheapest in Florida. And then the reply was probably. And then another comment was, everything here was cheaper and then COVID hit in New York and Cali moved here and everything went up. A tutu at the beach was was $700 and the same unit is now $2,300 to rent. My car insurance went from $90 a month to $260 for full coverage, and they said it's because so many people have moved here to the area and the claims went up, so they had to raise prices. So those are all definitely contributing factors. COVID, people relocating, the number of people that are relocating here to the area, all those things have gone up for sure. And then the last reply to this thread was the whole claim stuff was actually disproven. I don't know why anyone willingly moves here. I can't wait until I'm done with the Navy and leave. Oh, that's so sad. I wonder where they would go outside of Florida. I still like being in Jacksonville. You just have to adjust, just like anything in life, right? Some more replies I had were car insurance. My house payment went up $700 earlier this year because of the insurance and property taxes. That's what scares me the most. We all know it ain't going down from here, and that is so true because it is not going down. Another reply was, I'll add on to this, emergency prep was being big for us being new to a place with hurricanes. And then someone replied, this is for real. I moved here from the mountains to be with my husband, and I was like, clown face. I don't know what that means, but literally me, LOL, where are you from? I'm just outside of Seattle area. Oh, yay. So I will have to definitely heart that comment. And they said, or a reply was, I'm from the border of North and South Carolina along with the Blue Ridge Parkway. So with that being said, yeah, the mountains and that view in Washington, you can't beat it. But hurricane prep, what can you really prep? I mean, you just make sure you have water. Most likely if you're in your newer like parts of town, most likely you won't really be impacted. But if you live in like older areas where you may have flood surges and things like that, like San Marco, Riverside area where predominantly a lot of those happen, or near water, you may want to prepare to evacuate just depending on the category level. But honestly, hurricanes, I feel in my experience being through many hurricanes here and tropical storms, is just have water. I've never evacuated for a hurricane. We have lost power because I am in one of the more historical neighborhoods here in Jacksonville. And yeah, so you know, our utilities are not below ground like newer neighborhoods and communities, so you just have to adjust and just know what you're working with. And maybe buy a generator. That's the most I could say. And then some more of the comments I had were average spending less than $200 for JEA last month was $500. Breathing, yes, because even right now when it is like 95, not even 95 degrees outside, but it's overcast outside, but you could still feel the humidity. And even when I originally moved here, I remember how bad it felt like coming from, you know, like a place like Washington State and just having that fresh air. But this humidity level stuff out here is just ridiculous, I feel sometimes. But I'm of course used to it now, so it doesn't bother me as much. But it could be overcast, you're still sweating, and it's still, you just feel that muggy, icky like being outside. So what can you do? You're in Florida, it's humid here. Some more comments that I had were, you'll spend a ton on gas because the city is huge and it takes 30 miles to get to one place, which is also why car insurance costs more because people are driving heavy mileage. That is so true. Facts on facts on facts. And just recently, while my car was getting repaired because somebody hit it, I was driving my husband's Expedition, and that was like, it was ridiculous to fill up, in my opinion, even though like I know like my car that is electric is going towards our JEA bill. The gas on that thing, and I mean, it's an Expedition, it's like the biggest Expedition, and that thing, driving it, you know, day in and day out to take my kids to camps and things like that and their activities, I was filling that thing up at least twice a week because that's how much I drive in general on a weekly basis. But man, I was like, why am I paying $75 for this? Like, even though I know like the cost of charging an electric car is also, you know, expensive too, or an expense. I don't want to say it's expensive, but it is an expense. And you know, you just got to pick your poison. Pick your poison, people. And then another comment I had was, for me, it was how much my car insurance raised. Also electric, I never get to turn my AC off and my bill is always crazy. Yep, like I mentioned, keep that AC running. Maybe don't fluctuate with the temperature so much. And my car insurance has raised too. Let me know how much you're paying for car insurance and who you have. Maybe I might switch carriers. And yes, my bill is always so crazy. Like even for me, like I pay a ridiculous amount for car insurance, but also I've been hit multiple multiple times. I have been just in so many different scenarios that it's just like, and plus I drive a lot. I am a realtor, you know, so I do drive a lot in general. Even if I wasn't, like I drive my kids to school, which is 20 to 25 minutes away from my residence. So I just understand and feel all that. If you have an unexpected cost of living in Jacksonville, be sure to drop that in the comments below. My name is Yasha Wells, your favorite Jacksonville realtor. After hearing all of these comments, let me know, is Jacksonville even still on your radar? We had homeowners insurance prices, we had gas prices, JEA prices, in general, cost of living for food and just everything. In order for me to help you find your next home sweet home here, you do have to book a discovery call with me. The link will be in the comments and in the description below. Until next time, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.